Okay, so in this second video about operating with fractions, we're going to look at addition and subtraction. And we'll start with addition. The two are very similar, you'll find, and if you can get hold of the method for the first one, then the second one becomes a lot easier. When we add fractions, what we need is what we call a common denominator. And the number on the bottom of the fraction is the denominator. So in this case we need a number that's the same, that we can use to accommodate or make room for 4 and 5. Now the easiest way to do that is to multiply the 4 by the 5, which gives us 20. In certain circumstances you can possibly use one of the denominators you already have. For example, if I had 4 and 8, I could use 8 because 4 fits into 8 exactly. Okay, so we've decided that our common denominator in this case will be 20. The question is then, how does that change the original fractions that we have? And to look at that, we look at how we got from here to here, and in this case we multiplied by 5. And that means we have to do the same to the top of that fraction. So 3 times 5 gives us 15. In the second fraction, we look at how we got from here to here, and we multiplied by 4. So we have to do the same to the top of that fraction, and 4 4s are 16. Now at this stage, we can do the addition, and the bottom number stays the same, and the top two are added. So don't be tempted to add the bottom two, that doesn't make sense at all. So 20 stays the same, and 15 and 16 gives us 31. Now you notice that the 31 is bigger than the 20, and that's called either an improper or a top-heavy fraction. And the expectation is that we would change that into a mixed number. So to do that, we see how many times the bottom number goes into the top, and in this case that's 1, and how many of these 20ths are left over. Well, I've used 20 of them to make that whole one, so if I take the 20 away from the 31, that leaves me with 11. So there are 11 20ths left over. Now when it comes to subtraction, then we use exactly the same method. The only difference is that we have the minus sign instead of the plus. And so all of the things that I've described to you in the first part of this video would apply here. You look for a common denominator. You consider how that changes the top of each of your fractions. And we end up with these two just like we did in the previous part. But this time we're taking away. And you might find it odd that we've got a negative number here, but you can have a negative fraction in the same way as you can have a negative number, a negative decimal, and so on and so on. So 15 takes 16 is minus 1. Keep the denominator the same, and that can't be simplified, it just is minus 1/20. Okay.